Howdy, Coach.
Howdy, how we
Well,
doing?
all good. Welcome to the Zoom. You want to start us off with an opening statement?
Yes, going back reviewing the film, very good win at home against Arkansas. Anytime you get an SEC win, it's good. Did some really good things in the game. Thought our kicking game, we did a nice job. Our kickoff, of course, what's the name, Caden's kicking the ball out of the end zone with no coverage, did a great job. I mean, given no chance for returns. Our punt team did a really nice job. We ended up having to punt in the fourth quarter, averaged about 42 yards in net with no returns, getting great hang time. Love it. In those situations, got a couple nice punt returns out of the deal. Nias got some great field position for us in that regard, and they kicked one ball on the ground. We got a good kickoff return, got it back out past the 25, and did a real nice job there, and those things. Got all of our PATs and things going there. Offensively, sharp in the game. Had the first drive. We didn't get points, and we scored 6 straight touchdowns. It was really good. I wish we could have ran the ball. Got a couple more first. We had a couple first downs actually the next drive, and then got a holding penalty and got set back. We were moving it again, and then had a drop pass that stopped us on that drive. Then the next 2 drives had a run. We actually missed a cut. We blocked it very well and just missed a cut. One of the few we missed in the game that really could have come out for a big play and really set us up. And we got behind and didn't want to take any chances. We were up 3 scores and managed the game and got out of it. But, want to finish a little better there. But otherwise, thought on third down, we were excellent. Red zone scoring touchdowns, we were excellent. We had good balance as far as being able to run and throw the football, protected the quarterback very well, very few negative plays. I had the 3 holding calls, which was misfortunate. I didn't know. We got to check on a couple. I'm going to ask on a couple. They were close, but that's everyone's going to make sure we're doing the right things and teaching the right things there. I actually scored a touchdown off 2 holding calls in one drive, which I bet you can count on one hand or less than maybe 1 finger or 2 fingers you ever have score a touchdown with 2 holding calls in the same drive. But distribution across the board, different guys catching the ball, good reads. Kellen was very, in our run checks, protections, pass checks, the things he was doing, preparation was very good in that regard. Defensively, didn't get started off well. They got moving the football, got a score. We answered really good and came back. And like I said, big drives, I thought were answering back on offense after they scored. Answering when they got 21-14 on offense, making it 28-14. Then the defense getting a big stand around the 30, 35-yard line, not giving up any points before half was really huge. And then the offense scoring the first drive of the second half to get us up 3 scores. But then defensively, settled down. We did a really good job of getting off the field on third down. Gave up a couple too many big plays. In the run game, we had some unfortunate. Usually we're really good on the run. They hit some things inside. We got out of gaps and a little bit out of gap control and trying to make a few more plays instead of staying inside on what we're trying to do in the end-to-end tackle linebacker. But things that can be easily fixed and down the field in the defense in the third quarter did a really nice job where we were able to stretch the game out and play. But, we a lot of things we got to get better on, still growing, but a good win at home, and got to go play a very good South Carolina team on the road. South Carolina's beat some good teams, beating Auburn. They play really good at home. Night game over there is always tough. Will's a heck of a football coach. Mike Bobo on offense, known him a long time. Very good football coach, and they got really good players. I mean, their corners, both corners are, one's projected to be a first rounder and one preseason. The other one was projected to be a first rounder for the season. So very good there. They got rush guys up front, 52, and those guys can rush. The backers, 53, and those guys make a ton of plays. 5, 6 up front. Those guys are strong. A strong offensive line. The backs can really run the football. The young back 20 is really doing a great job for them, in my opinion. How physical he is. Quarterback's doing a good job there. And then, of course, Shi Smith, who had a big play on us last year, is a really good receiver. So the tight ends are good. So they'll have a good scheme. We're going to have to play well and got to do it on a short week where we don't get, your practices today because tomorrow being off, which is the right thing to do for voting and getting our kids to make sure we vote. And they exercise their right to do that, get all that taken care of. But that does challenge you as far as our preparation. We got to get things ready quickly today and then go back on Wednesday. So questions?
First question is from Olin Buchanan at Texas
A&M. Good afternoon, Jimbo. Here at the midway point, are there any specific elements that you can point to and say, this is what I really like about this football team?
The first thing is our competitive nature, our ability to be resilient, our ability to match up each situation, no matter what happens to us. We keep playing the next play, and we playing together and being a football team. And I think to have success as a team, I think it's very important. Where the offense, if the defense struggles, the offense picks it up. The offense struggles, the defense picks it up, and vice versa, learning to play together. But I love the camaraderie of this team. I think we're learning to be a physical football team. I mean, we're trying to be more physical up front, being able to control lines of scrimmage. And at times we do, and times we don't. I mean, it's tough in this league. But I think I do like that ability, have balance on offense. Our front guys on defense staying physical to be able to do that. And our kicking game's been pretty sound throughout what we're trying to do there. We're kicking the ball where we're supposed to kick it, punting it, hitting our field goals and PATs and return games. So in that regard, we're doing a good job, and it's got to continue to get better.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And do you kind of feel like maybe you've got a kind of an embarrassment of riches at running back now? And is it hard to take Isaiah?
You never have enough of those good. You never have enough good backs, man. The physicality of this league and the carries and the way a season goes on, trust me, you need every one of those guys. And I need some more. I need some more. I'm not rich. We need to be richer. I promise.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go to Tyler Shaw from KBTX.
Hey, Coach. When you look ahead to a team like South Carolina, where you guys are favored, and the way this team is playing, does it become easier to pick up wins with the momentum, or does it get harder when you have to live up to expectations? And
you don't worry about that. Listen, you got to live up to your own expectations, and that's how you prepare every day. It's how you practice every day. It's how you think. That's the world where you have to live. And whether you're never a favorite in any game. Listen, everybody in this league can beat you. Everybody's got great players. It's about us preparing, playing, and handling our business one game at a time, one day at a time this week to get in position to be able to play on Saturday. And that's not a cliche. I mean, that's the way we think. That's the way we believe. And that's the way you have to do it. There are no favorites. There are no underdogs. You just got to play the game and be the best you can be.
Next up is Chip Howard from Sports Talk.
Jimbo, if I could piggyback on that, you've certainly had teams before that were highly ranked. How do you approach that with your team? You know, the guys are looking at the top 10, they're hearing all the what ifs and all the scenarios. What do you approach that? What do you tell them?
Don't listen to the poison. You're going to believe us, myself and the staff and everybody around you. Are you going to believe people out there who are just writing things? And I don't mean they're going to write a story, whether you, like I tell, they're going to write a story if you win, they're going to write a story if you lose. It's going to be benefit. They win both ways. They win both ways. There's no offense to that. We live in our own little world, and I always play why were you not having success? You always look at that. But when I ask them, why are you having success? Because you block out the clutter. You play one game at a time. You live one day at a time. You do what you can do today, go to bed, get up, get ready to play the game this weekend. And that whole process puts you in position to have success. Doesn't even mean you have success. You have to go play. And that's what you keep reminding them each and every day. You always do that because anytime – human nature is to have complacency. Human nature is not to grind things out. Human nature is not to push to be great. It's to do well, take a break. I need a little break, and then we'll get back at it. No, if you're going to have great teams, you can't think like that. And that's something that hopefully in the culture we're continually building and expressing from our coaches, from everybody in the whole building, A to Z, that, you have to have the reasons you have success never change. It's your preparation, your thought process, and your daily work habits.
If I could follow up,
Yes,
this
sir.
is your third road trip. How satisfied are you with the travel protocols you've had so far? And have you tweaked anything or made any changes?
We really have. It's been very good. I mean, they have been our administration, our operations staff with Mark Robinson and working with the AD and everybody else, our trainers. I mean, everybody's doing a great job of keeping everything safe. Our players are doing a good job, and we haven't really tweaked anything at all. I mean, we haven't tweaked much at all. I mean, you always tweak something here and there on time, but I mean, it's been really, really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Mike Lucas from KAGS.
Hey, Jimbo, I wanted to ask about your guys' third down conversion offense. It's ranked number 1 in the country right now, and in particular,
wow.
Kevin's been fantastic. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to jinx anything, but Kevin's been fantastic too, 64% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, and that hasn't been a strength of his in the past. So I'm curious, what's different about Kellen on third downs and this offense as a whole on third downs this season?
Well, I mean, I think it starts with the quarterback. It always does, but it starts with protection from the offensive line. It starts from routes, from guys getting open, knowing how to get open, how to get into spacing, get everything proper, whether it's backs, tight ends, receivers. It's a cumulative effect, and we emphasize it. We understand how you always hear me say third down conversions is a huge part of the game and gives you 4 more shots and being able to get off the field on defense. And that's something we work on. We start on Monday. We start early in the week on our third down red zone conversions and our game planning, not just, because even though first and second down, all that stuff, we start very early, work a lot on Mondays, a lot more than some folks, I think, is we're on the field and do a lot more on Mondays with pads than a lot of guys. And we've just been fortunate in it. Guys are doing a good job, and knock on wood, hopefully we can do it. And they're throwing, catching the ball, or running the ball. I think having balance has been good too. We've been able to run it and throw it, and that's been able to convert.
All right, your next question is from Brent Zorneman with the Houston Chronicle.
Jimbo, I'm happy to hear I'm 5-0 this season. That's a good deal. Wanted to ask you a recruiting question. How advantageous is it for you when, with your ties to the South and SEC country, Southeast, but then to also come to a place where you're able to get guys like Spiller, Anais, Weidermeyer, Achain all within a couple hours as well?
It's very good. And I always believe this. You got to have a nucleus of right around you close. And next, Texas is as good at football as there is anywhere in the country, probably the best football in the country. I mean, there's more emphasis on it and players, and we're always going to do that. But you always have some guys don't, they don't come, they don't fit, situations, whatever it may be. But being able to reach out nationally, and you look at every team in the country that's having a lot of success, they're able to do that. And, and there's tons of football players in the South, and a lot of my ties and coach our assistant coaches and everybody has history back there. It makes it a big deal when you can have a bigger blueprint of where you're trying to get players from. It makes the job better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Zach Taylor from WTAW.
Jimbo, speaking of ties, you and Will Muschamp go back a ways. What are the difficulties in planning against a coach who has seen your offense so often?
Well, I mean, they've seen it, but like I say, what they do, they know what you do. So, what you can change, what they can change. I mean, listen, Will is a great coach, always has been. Was a tremendous defense coordinator, is a very good head football coach. So, you're going to have to be sound in what you do. Is there advantages or disadvantages? I don't really think so. After a while, it gets back to the players, and you got to be sound in your schemes and execute what you want to do. And, he knows me, I know him, and all of a sudden, but we can always change too. We know that. So sometimes there's an advantage, sometimes there isn't an advantage. So it goes back and forth. He does a great job. And I now, it's been so many years. It's just, it's just another, like playing anybody else. You play them so many times.
And if I could follow up, do you enjoy playing Friends, or is it difficult for you?
I'll be honest with you, not really. I mean, I love competing no matter who you're going to compete against, you do it. But, this business is so tough and rough because one of you at the end of the day is not going to feel good. And you hate for it to be anybody that you have very good friendships with. I mean, it is what it is, and you get used to doing it. And you're in this business so long, everybody becomes your daggone friend. But, Will and I go way, way back, and I always look at him very favorably as a friend. And I don't particularly like playing Friends, to be honest with you.
Okay, thanks.
Next up is Travis Brown from the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Doing well. After getting a chance to kind of look at the film, how impressive was what Hez Jones was able to do this weekend, and how much of a boost did he give, especially having not caught a pass in like a year and a half?
Yeah, really. Coming back and having a game like that, had some big third down conversions, blocked very well, got in situations, was able to move him around because he can play multiple positions and let us mismatch guys on other things or mismatch him on somebody. I mean, it was very good because, listen, the one thing that there's no substitute for is experience and his versatility. And like I say, Hez runs well, he's catching well, and he's been a very good team leader also. It was great to have him back.
And I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but just a little bit more in detail, how does your schedule adjust this week with having tomorrow off for Election Day?
Yeah, well, what we tried to do on Sunday yesterday, we used to give them the day off on Sunday. We'll give them the day off on Tuesday. We got together, watched the film on Sunday, which took some prep time away from us, and then we did a walkthrough, base complete walkthrough, special teams walkthrough for a limited amount of time, and then an defensive walkthrough. With just guys, I mean, completely no physical. I mean, just engaging fronts, engaging what the guy does, and introducing blitzes or introducing routes on the defense or runs or what they did, goal line, all your situations. You kind of walk through all those things for like a complete mental practice. And then today, we usually have a Monday. We may extend it a little bit more. Normal Monday practice, we'll extend it to make it more like a Tuesday, which is hard. I mean, it's just tough too because you don't have as much prep time. But we did a lot of prep time in the off week, which I talked about. We got that information in, which we knew was very important. So today will be like an extended Monday, almost like a Tuesday, and then Tuesday will be off, and then we'll get into a Wednesday.
Awesome. And then do you or your support staff or some of the auxiliary staff, have they made a push the last couple of weeks to make sure the players know of the importance of voting and getting out there
without a doubt.
Do that?
Talk about it. If you voted early, it's great. If you haven't, you need to get out there. We've been encouraging that for the last couple of weeks to make sure they get out. And we even told them to do it early if you wanted to. You maybe avoid all the lines and some of the stuff that goes on Election Day. But if you wait till the day, make sure you're exercising your right. You want change in this world, and you want things to go what you want. You got a chance to voice your opinion right here in voting. And that's as strong as you got. And to please go do that. Yes, sir, we definitely did.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Next up is Robert Cessna from the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Jimbo, you always do talk about opponents being faceless and nameless, but I wondered about the flip side. In your time at Florida State, you had a lot of top 10 teams. Going on the road, particularly, do teams play harder because of that ranking? Did you find out it's a little tougher or not to win?
Yeah, when you become a target or you have success, like we did down there for a long time, we definitely did. I mean, their teams are laying it out there. I mean, they can make a name, they can make a season, they can start a program, and I hope we can get A&M to be that point. That's what our goal is. That everybody wants to play their best against us, which they do in this league anyway. But I mean, if you're being ranked and doing the things you got to do, but that's something we can't worry about. You got to expect the other guy's best no matter what. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, and you go. But yeah, that you become a target. If you do it for a long period of time, there's no doubt. I mean, that's just human nature. But you as a competitor, you got to assume somebody, no matter what's going on in the game, they're thinking that way about you. And because you can't worry about them, you got to worry about how you play and expect that guy's best and play your best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from Justin Woodard at KAGS.
Coach, obviously, anytime your quarterback only has 5 incompletions and throws for 3 touchdowns, that's a pretty good day at the office. Kellen always talks to us about trusting his eyes and trusting the receivers to be where they are. How much are you seeing that right now?
You got to listen, trust, man. Love, trust, and believe. We tell them all the time about our play. You got to love each other, trust each other, and believe in each other. And there's times, rhythm, and you got to have faith in each other to do the things you got to do. And that comes with repetition, time, getting to know each other. And you got to, like I say, trusting his eyes is, processing the information. You can't be thinking. You're reacting to what you see, and you know what to do and do it. And trust that what you're seeing is there and what the other guy's seeing there. And that's how you got to play on rhythm. And they did a really good job of that on Saturday night.
Is that an area where he's grown a lot, Jimbo?
Oh, yeah. And as your knowledge of what you do, your knowledge of the guys around you, the more you're comfortable with those guys, and your overall knowledge of what's being accomplished from not just what that defense is doing, but what we're trying to accomplish with the call based on that down and distance, based on that field position, based on that time in the game, on the clock, all those things, that experience makes it really helps in that area.
All right, next up is Chuck Carlton from the Dallas Morning News.
Jimbo, I was wondering, from what you've seen in all the years of coaching, are there specific qualities that go into being a very good road team? And do you, I guess, what kind of lessons do you take away from your first 2 road games this season?
Well, I mean, I think being on the road, you got to have a competitive edge too. You got to understand you're going into a hostile environment. Everybody there, except for the Aggies, that they're allowed to get tickets, are not going to be for you. So, you do have to have a chip on your shoulder. You got to expect you expect hostility. You got to be able to stand by yourself and stand with your brothers on the team. And there becomes a mentality like that, which hopefully you have at home too, which you most do, but you do got to have that. You got to have that thick skin. There's going to be moments their crowd's going to there's going to be momentum swings. You got to play the next play. The crowd gets controlled by how you play. And that's the big thing. And if it gets out of hand, you got to go back and play the next play. And there is a maturity in that, not letting the emotions of the game and the momentum of the game get away. Just control what you can control, what's in front of you. You got to you build a mentality like that. And the things we've taken from that, was what I talked about. We've won one, we've lost one. Both have had tough situations. Both have had big momentum swings in the game, and we've handled those at times really well. Even in the Alabama game, when they were up 14-0, we were able to get a drive, get a turnover, tie it up, and then they got back ahead. And hopefully, in the next one, we got to Mississippi State. We had control of the game, get a crazy bounce of a ball, and they get right back in it. And then we answer up very next drive and go back and get 21-7. So, and then we get a turnover. So, hopefully we're growing in that aspect to get back up 28-7. So hopefully in those areas, we're continuing to grow and have seen progress in that area.
And a quick follow-up with
Yes,
COVID, with restricted crowds, have you noticed a difference at all in your 2 road games?
Very similar, and I expect this one here to be. I think this one here will be very loud. It looks like on film they get cranked. They always have over there, but they've probably been very similar.
All right, next up is Gabe Bach from Texas.
Yeah, Jimbo, speaking specifically about your defense, in what areas do you feel you're most pleased with what's happening defensively, and where do you feel like you have a ways to go right now?
Well, I mean, you're all the phases you got to get better, just like on offense we do. But defensively, we were doing a great job against the run the other night. They got some running yards against us, which is really rare. I think we got to continue to find ways to put pressure on the quarterback, eliminate the big plays. We're still doing a good job on 3rd down. I thought we did a good job in the red zone, tight zone the other day of getting guys out. We did in the Vanderbilt game and a couple games so far this year of creating that. We got didn't get any turnovers we're getting better at that aspect of it. We got a bunch, before in sacks and pressures. We got to continue on that because we got 4 sacks the other night, but still, that's 10, I think, in the last 2 games, which is really good. But we're still got to always continue to affect the quarterback and play the run and get off the field in those 3rd and long situations.
All right, we're running out of time, but we'll try to power through. Next up is Owen Buchanan and then Travis Brown.
Yeah, Coach. Do you feel like this team has as much or more explosive ability than maybe your previous 2?
I don't know that. We got some young guys that can really run, and I think there's some guys that are still we're not getting as much playing time. I think can be very explosive, but I probably may a little more overall team speed, maybe from top to bottom, and even what we have. And that, like I say, explosion is something we're continually working on, and you got to have it for sure.
Coach, did any of the guys who opted out show any interest of wanting to rejoin? And if they did, would you let them?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everything, when a guy opts out, we always discuss what's going on, why you're going on, and when you're always open to those situations because, listen, those guys made decisions in tough areas other time, and when there was different scenarios, as I can say, the circumstances change, we all change. I would very much so because it's their right to do that, and as their head coach, I need to listen to that and would be very open to that at any time, but at the same time, respect what they have decided right now.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
We got time for one more question, and we'll go to Travis Brown from the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Yeah, Coach, a little one out of left field here, but with Anais changing his number to 0, has to be a pretty well-oiled machine there to get him changed and ready for punt returns and back. What have you? How impressed have you been with that that system of getting him ready for kick returns, then get him back ready for offense?
Well, first of all, make sure that we could do it. Make sure we get those guys on, and we practice it. We did it. We got it down. They do a great job of getting that jersey on and off. Because if we couldn't, somebody's changing the number. We're going to get that changed. Everybody's going to change the number. I tell you what, I wish some of my biggest headaches the whole team would be now, I would say 1 through 9. I would say now 0 through 9. We could have 98.8% of them in 0 through 9 and play. Now, unfortunately, we have 11 guys, so we'd be 2 guys short most of the time. Or what we're doing, but I mean, it's they all want those single digits. But hey, just so it doesn't cause a conflict, I'm great with it, and he's doing really good with it. And they all are, so it's been good. Good question.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
All right, that's all the time we got. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.